Well, there's nothing in here about one-armed orcs or shroom-eating wizards. Oh, hello. Previously on Miscellanea. I'm still not sure how I ended up with a temporarily reversed duplicate of myself. Poor fellow can't understand a word I say. My clothes are coming apart at the seams. Well, that mulled wine was quite tasty, and it did warm me up a bit. But I still don't know where this thread came from. Perhaps it's a missing plot thread. Vegan. Missing episode? It fell through a wormhole. How am I supposed to find it? And now the story continues. And now the story continues. I don't know, I felt sure that would work. I've been waiting for him to come back for what seems like ages. I don't know how to mend the fabric of space-time. I thought that he would just show up, MacGuffin in hand, if I said something like, and now the story continues. Sorry I'm late. I'm running out of time. In more ways than one. Is that why this episode has taken so long to make? No, that's procrastination, that's all you. I did manage to find that missing episode. It's in bad shape, but it's there. I remember now. I remember the night we made maraschino cherries. To start with, you'll need cherries, preferably some kind of dark cherry, but any kind will do. You'll also need cherry liqueur. Ideally, you'll want to use Luxardo maraschino liqueur, but if you can't find it or find it a bit pricey, any other kind of natural cherry liqueur will do fine. You'll need something to put them in, ideally a jar, but you can use any kind of clean, food-safe container. Place the cherries in a colander. First, you'll want to sort the cherries. Remove any that seem too soft, have obvious bad spots, or are infested in some way. Most, if not all of the cherries you remove, you should be able to use for some other purpose, such as pie making. For this, you want only fresh cherries of good quality with no obvious bad spots. Gently but thoroughly rinse the cherries with cold water. Let them drain afterwards, but there's no need to dry them. Pitting the cherries for this is optional. If you're going to remove the pits, I suggest investing in a cherry pitter. It will make the job much faster. If you leave them in, they will impart a slight almond-like flavor to the finished product. If you're worried about cyanide leaching out of the pits, go ahead and remove them, but the amounts would be negligible. Pitted or not, put the cherries into the jar or whatever container you're using for this. Fill the jar as full as you like, but don't pack it. You don't want the cherries to be smushing each other. Once you have the cherries in the jar, add the cherry liqueur. Just keep pouring till the cherries are covered. Screw on the lid, shake them up a little, put them in the fridge, and 2 weeks or 1 clock wipe later, they'll be ready for cocktails, sundaes, cupcakes, or whatever you fancy. Well, that's all well and good, but how is this supposed to help? The cherries are good, but they're not enough. I don't belong in this universe. You see, at any given moment, there are practically infinite possibilities, myriad paths branching out from the same point in space-time. Normally, these remain separate. You and I are 2 paths in the same forest. When you stepped into the tachyon beam, the matter transporter had already been activated, but instead of sending you through time or through space, it tore you in two. You walked away unscathed, for the time being. But look at you. You're disheveled. You don't know what day it is. You're falling apart at the seams. We're 2 ends of the same candle, both burning at once. 2 strings twisted together, unraveling from both ends. You are the left mustache, and I am the right. Wait, so we're a candle in a forest? I'm sorry, there are just so many metaphors flying around. Are you following this? You're right. I'll make this very simple. I need to find a way into my universe. Certain things, like those cherries, contain stored temporal energy. Anything with time as the primary ingredient. The time it took to make that liqueur, to grow those cherries on the tree, to soak them in the jar. But it's not enough. I need more. I need that energy to open a doorway between universes. And only then, when I step through that doorway, into my rightful timeline, will both universes and both men heal. Oh, yes, simple. Well, now wait a minute. There was a reason I made these cherries, and it wasn't as a topper for delicious frozen treats. That episode had a second half. So, you gonna go get it? Oh, I guess so. Tune in next time for information on something else. They say that time heals all wounds, but what if time itself is wounded? Next time on Miscellanea, a stitch in time saves time. I will be so glad once I'm in my own universe. What time is it when the universe is falling apart at the seams? Time to time a time. Time and time for time on time.